So today's video is all about some of the best Zoom tips, tricks and hacks which call for a better Zoom meeting experience. A lot of people are rightfully concerned with Zoom security settings, and it would appear that Zoom themselves are paying attention. There have been several enhancements to Zoom security over the past week, and more are coming. So for my first Zoom tip, there has been a new feature added to the Zoom meeting control. So I'm going to open Zoom app on my laptop and start a new meeting. So down here at the bottom, there has been added a security tab. And when you click on that security tab, first of all, what's really great for locking out Zoom hijackers is the lock meeting feature. Once everyone who is supposed to be attending the meeting is there, you can lock the meeting and nobody else will be able to join that meeting even if they have the meeting ID and password. So it's like virtually locking the door. You can also turn on and off the enable waiting room feature, which allows people to wait until the host, which might be yourself, is ready to receive participants for the meeting. And you can also manage your participants' ability to share screen, chat, or rename themselves. So some very useful security features that you can manage right here from your meeting controls. The second Zoom feature I want to recommend are some of my favorite Zoom shortcut keys. The first one is to mute everybody in the meeting. For example, if you're hosting meetings with big groups, background noise can often get in the way of clear communication. So if you want to mute everybody in the meeting very quickly, you can hit Alt+M on your PC or Command+Ctrl+M on your Mac. And if you press those keys again, you can unmute everybody. And you can press and hold the space bar to quickly mute and unmute your mic right from your keyboard. One of the simplest yet most important tips when you're taking part in a meeting has to do with repositioning your laptop or iPad to slightly above eye level. The reason why this is important is that when you're looking down at the camera, other participants in the meeting will be looking up into your nose. So what you can do is to grab an old Amazon shipping box or just any box about 4 or 5 inches in height. A stack of books can also work. Place your laptop on top of it, and when you're in a virtual meeting, in essence, you're making eye contact with participants on the other side. One of my favorite settings is allow participants to join the meeting before the host arrives. Then the meeting is less dependent on you being there on time. You can enable this feature by going to your Zoom account on zoom.us. Click on Settings on the left-hand side, and if you scroll down a little bit, enable Allow participants to join the meeting before the host arrives. So in that way, the meeting is opened up to early arrivers and they can start interacting with each other even if you're not there as the host. If you're enjoying this video so far, please like the video, as this will allow this video to be shared with more people and help out with the YouTube algorithm. Thank you. Also, under the same Settings tab, you can modify many other features of Zoom. For example, if you scroll all the way down, you can enable virtual backgrounds if you don't have this option showing already on your meeting controls toolbar. And if I scroll up a little bit, I can always show my meeting controls toolbar so that it doesn't keep disappearing during the meeting. So here is the meetings control toolbar when you are conducting a Zoom meeting. And as you can see, the virtual background feature can now be accessed from here. And if I scroll up again and switch to the Recordings tab, I have the option to completely disable the recording feature if I want to. By the way, if you want to know where all of your recordings go when this is enabled, click here on the Recordings tab just before Settings on the left-hand side, and then click on Local Recordings to access all your recordings. Okay, so Zoom Virtual Backgrounds is a great feature that allows you to display an image or video as your background during a Zoom meeting. So I've shown you how to enable Zoom Virtual Backgrounds in the Settings area. I'm now going to access it on my Meetings Control toolbar by clicking on the arrow pointing upwards next to the camera icon. Now I'm going to click on Virtual Backgrounds. So you can select one of these default images or videos as your desired virtual background, or add your own images by clicking plus and choosing if you want to upload an image or a video. You can get really high quality images that are free from websites like Pixabay, Pexels, Unsplash.com. So for example, you can look for images like office spaces, or you can look for images that are a solid color, for example black, and then you can add a logo, and that gives it just a very clean and professional look when you're conducting meetings. One more thing to be aware of if you want to use the virtual background feature on Zoom is that not everybody with a computer or phone can use this amazing feature, unfortunately. There are some requirements in order to use virtual backgrounds. If you're on a PC or Mac, you need at least an i5 processor or better. And if you're on an iPhone, you need an iPhone 8 or better. And if you're using an Android phone, you won't be able to use this feature at all at the moment. As you can see on my computer, because it hasn't got an i5 processor, I am not able to use Zoom virtual backgrounds without a green screen. The next tip is a simple one but can save you a lot of time and frustration. So say for example I'm hosting a meeting and I'm sharing my screen. I can hide the floating meeting control at the top here so that I don't accidentally stop sharing because I want to access another window on my device. Now to do that, click on the three dots here on the far right hand side and select Hide Floating Meeting Controls. And you can share your screen without worrying that you're going to stop sharing just because you want to access another window. And if you want your floating meeting controls to be visible again, simply click on Escape on your PC or Mac and you will see it there. And while we're on the subject of share screen, there's also the possibility to new share and pause share. So if I want to share another screen on my computer, for example, a Word document like this one, I can click on new share. My participants are not going to see me switching to a new screen, by the way. They will only see the new screen, in this case the Word document, once I click on Share Screen. And if I want to go back to my previous window again, I click on New Share, select the window I want to go back to, and I will be back on my previous window. So this really allows for a smooth sharing transition between different apps on your computer when you're conducting a meeting. And if you click on Pause Share, what happens is that participants will remain on the same screen. So you can maybe go about and find something, and when you click on pause again, I can resume the screen share part of the meeting. So by using these two features when you're doing a screen share, your meetings will run that much more polished and professional. By the way, you can also use annotations when you are sharing your screen. If you click on Annotate, there are a variety of different ways that you can highlight things on your screen. One of my favorites will be the spotlight. Here it adds a little red spotlight, so if people have trouble following your cursor and you want to make sure people know exactly what you're talking about, then this is a great tool to use. Of course, there is also the little arrow stamp and other great tools that you can choose from. So just play around with this option when you're doing a screen share. Breakout rooms is an incredibly useful feature when you're teaching large groups, and it allows you to split up your groups into smaller teams. You as the host can hop from team to team, and then you can bring everyone back together when you want to. So if you want to enable breakout rooms, head to your Zoom account on zoom.us, then click on Settings on the left-hand side, then scroll down all the way to In Meeting Advanced. Select the second option, which allows you as the host to split meeting participants into separate smaller rooms. Then select Allow host to assign participants to breakout rooms when scheduling. Alright, so now just to give you an idea of how this all works, when I click on Start a New Meeting on my computer application here, although of course I have no participants in this room, I can still show you how this works. At the bottom here, you can see that there is now an extra option on the meeting controls toolbar, which is called breakout rooms. Now what we can do is to have Zoom automatically assign people into breakout rooms, or you can do this manually. Now if you use automatically, you can still change it afterwards. So let's say, for example, you have two students working together that don't usually work well together, you can change that manually afterwards. Now I'm going to leave it on automatically, and then I'm going to click on Create Rooms. Here's where you can get an overview of all of the rooms that you've created. You can rearrange participants by clicking on Assign, and you can add another room manually if you want. If you hover over the rooms, you can delete them or you can rename them as well. And you can create up to 50 breakout rooms for your teams to work in. Once you have created these rooms and you want to send your participants to the rooms, you click on Open All Rooms and your participants will be sent into the breakout rooms. When you then choose to close these rooms, your participants will be called back into the main meeting. So this is an incredibly useful feature for classrooms, for example, or if you want people to work in teams. There are also a number of extra options here which I won't go into. However, like I mentioned before, if you want a detailed description about breakout rooms, check the description box. Guys, I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Also subscribe if you haven't already done so. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in another video. Bye.